Hello guys, and welcome to Company of Heroes 3 Final Stand. Today I'm able to give you guys a sneak peek at some gameplay thanks to Relic Entertainment, who have given me early access. As soon as I saw the concept, I was really excited. I thoroughly enjoyed Operation Stonewall in the original Company of Heroes, and this brought me straight back to that feeling. I think it's great that Relic is putting effort into single player and co-op content, and I've had a blast on it so far. And you heard me right, you can play this with a friend in co-op. So what is Final Stand? It's a wave-based defense mode where you choose one of multiple maps, try to survive through 12 waves of enemies, and beat the bosses that appear throughout the game. Beating each wave will give you perk points, including bonus perk points per outpost you keep alive that you can spend after the game, and if you beat all 12 waves, you get a gold badge for that difficulty. There is plenty of difficulty levels to choose through, and you can do so for each of the 4 factions available in the game: America, Britain, Wehrmacht, and Afrika Korps. The difficulty goes all the way up to Expert +3, and some maps are harder than others due to multiple directions of approach. Jumping into the game, you start with a humble engineer. Pick your next unit and get to work building your defences and taking on the enemies that get thrown your way. You can't use barbed wire or tank traps, but you can build plenty of sandbags for cover, MG posts and mines for defending key areas. Just be aware the enemy comes from multiple directions, rendering emplacements in one area redundant to another. On each map you will have access to a certain number of outposts. The outposts provide healing out of combat and reinforcement to nearby units, so keeping them alive as long as possible is a must to allow you to keep a good position further out in the map. The enemy loves to focus them down, so be ready for that and keep them repaired when you get the chance. Each wave gives you more unlocks and harder enemies with sometimes crazy compositions like a full pioneer with flamethrower rush, or multiple Nebelwerfers ready to mess up your day. The enemies can also have their own perks, sometimes arriving with a blitzkrieg modifier helping them assault your positions faster, or a smoke drop that blinds your defences, making them easier to approach. From the games I've played as the Brits, each felt similar, but not the same, with interesting twists and turns, different bosses and compositions to fight against. One game I had Matildas, the next I had Crusaders, and so on. No one solution can win each time you play, because you are given different options each time. But do take extra care to watch out for the bosses which come in with improved stats that can help them carve through your men. Each have unique skins and are different units, from pioneers to Verbelvins and beyond. Between the chaos of the waves, you do get some downtime to place mines or go collect airdropped supplies around the map, both of which will be crucial strategies on harder difficulties. You will also need to choose between your new units, passive abilities, and active abilities. Active abilities can be really strong and give you access to things like incendiary bombing strikes or off-map artillery. These abilities are free to use, but do have long cooldowns. Passive abilities can bolster your infantry or tanks, sometimes your emplacements and buildings too, changing the focus of your composition and positioning of your army throughout the game. But let's talk a little bit about perks. There are perks for each faction, and you can accumulate over 7,000 perk points per faction. They give interesting bonuses, such as the ability to add more options when choosing passive technologies, or something like decreasing ability cooldown. There are lots to explore, with some really interesting and powerful bonuses the further you get through the perk tree. Definitely worth having a good look if you jump into the game yourself. You can also reset your perks at any time to change your build and try different things, even if you don't have everything unlocked yet. After setting up your perks, the idea is that you jump back into the game using the same faction with those perks to go on a harder and harder difficulty, get more and more perk points, and continue to unlock more of what the game has to offer, and seeing many of the different combinations and intensities of the different waves. It's really fun, and what I wanted to do in this video was take you through some of the decision making at different parts of the game and compare them between 2 different games that I played, because I think this really shows the potential of Final Stand and how it's going to be really fun to play when it comes out. So in this example, I've started obviously with the Royal Engineer section that you get at the start of every game, but then I've chosen to get the Canadian Shock Troopers instead of the Commando section. I think the Canadians are a bit more of a versatile option because they come with both the 2-inch mortar package and also the Piat package, whilst the Commandos would obviously be better for dealing with infantry quickly at close range, and they can also use like a large explosive to set traps for the enemy as they come in. Whereas in my other game, I had a choice between the Vickers HMG and the Australian Light Infantry section. Now the Australian Light Infantry section is really good against infantry, and it can also build extra cover. So I thought on a map where there's a lot more outposts, being able to build cover with more squads makes sense. Whereas going back to the other map, you can see there's only 3 approaches, and therefore the Canadian shock troops will be able to get a lot more value in that situation. So the next choice was between reduced squad ability cost and auto power drop reinforcements. One reduces the squad ability cost by 100%, meaning I don't have to spend munitions on grenades or using the mortar, whereas auto power drop reinforcements will automatically reinforce a squad every 30 seconds. Both are really strong, but since I didn't plan to lose any men, reducing the squad ability costs definitely won this time around. Meanwhile, in my other game, we had a choice between Vet 3 attack speed bonus or decreased reinforcement cost. Vet 3 attack speed bonus really rewards you for keeping your squads alive, giving you 5% attack speed to all squads for each squad that you get to Veterancy 3. Whilst decreased reinforcement cost is what it says on the tin. It reduces reinforcement cost by 50%, another very strong passive, which I think will be more important on harder difficulties where you're likely to lose more men. Since I was playing on a lower difficulty in this situation, the Vet 3 attack speed bonus makes perfect sense. So the first wave is on its way, and it's going to be up to the Canadian shock troopers to take down these engineers. I'm going to immediately open up with my mortar, as it's going to be completely free for me to use. The pioneers will move up and hit the mine. My Royal Engineer section on the right hand side got nice and close to the Grenadiers to mow them down with their Sten guns. In between the waves, we're going to take advantage of a little bit of time to build some more sandbags in front of the outposts. I've realised the more that I play, having units in front of the outposts to stop them getting focused is quite important. I've also chosen to bring out a 2-pounder AT gun, because on the harder difficulties, the vehicles do start to come thick and fast. Now it was really interesting in this game because later on I was actually able to upgrade my 2-pounder AT guns to 6-pounder AT guns, which not only allowed me to build new 6-pounder AT guns but upgraded the current units on the map. Whilst in my other game I was stuck with 2-pounders the entire game, which aren't necessarily a bad AT gun, but they're not going to get through thicker armour. So later on I had to choose to bring in an archer, really bring that penetration that would allow me to punch through hard targets. It was a great choice because later on you start bumping into tigers and panthers, and if you don't have the penetration to deal with those, they're really going to start chewing up your men. So hopefully that's a couple of great examples of where the gameplay is really different between each time you play. And I'm really excited to be trying this with a friend as well, where you're going to be able to complement each other's forces by the choices you make. So overall, I think Company Heroes 3 Final Stand is a very cool experience. And I think those of you who enjoy single player and defense style game modes should be really excited about this kind of content. At the end of the day, this is just the start, and hopefully they'll continue to develop more of Final Stand in the future. But that's all from me for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this sneak peek at Company of Heroes 3 Final Stand. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.